And here we are back. So this is game number 2. This is a game that I've been running for a while as well. And this is Skuljagger Revolt of the Westicans. It's a game that's pretty lore heavy. So as I'm gonna do this run, I'm gonna explain some of the lore. But also there's gonna be lots of swords and bubblegum action, so I hope you're ready for that. Let's see, did I miss anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, it's gonna be good times. I'll explain everything as soon as we are on the road. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is a game that takes place on the island of Westica, and you see the island of Westica here. It kind of looks like USA. It's probably similar. You play as Storm Jackson, and Storm Jackson carries a sword that he stole from one Skuljagger, and Skuljagger is the main villain of this game, funnily enough, and he basically kept all of the Westicans on this island enslaved. So Storm Jackson is trying to save all of them, and yeah, that's basically how the story starts. So we basically run off with the sword, and like I said, there's some sword action, there's some bubblegum action, and we'll be seeing that a bit more later on. We also have these gems. Like I have a red gem now, which fires off projectiles, which is very handy for some far-off hits like this. Those blue gems are the checkpoints, by the way, so if I die, that's where I start from. And yeah, this game has some bubblegum management. Like, I did pick up a cherry gum over here. I'm gonna use it in the very next level, so that'll be a little bit later, and there'll be quite a few more instances of that. And I'll talk some more about how the route of this game changed, because that was a thing as well. Like, ever since a year ago, this route did change quite a bit. And also there's a lot of hot gems in this game too. Lots of wonderful baselines. There's also green gems. I can also pick those up. I try to keep a certain amount of gems on me so I can take a certain amount of hits, because as long as I have gems, I'll basically stay alive. And as soon as I'm out of gems, I'll die. So it's kind of like Sonic, except it's less forgiving. The skull of the moves like Jagger. Well, I guess he has some moves. He has this victory pose, as you saw, which is the most epic victory pose in video gaming history, I'm pretty sure. Ah, that was unfortunate. I got hit by one of the skulls. Hitboxes can be a bit weird in this game. So now we're in this warehouse, and we're surrounded by these so-called Kiltish troops, so this Kiltish army. We'll be encountering them quite a bit throughout the game. Oh, that's the thing that happens too. It's so weird. For some reason, I can do that, and it brings me back to the beginning of the level. So apologies for the music that's sounding duplicated somehow. We'll be fine though. I swear. I've had it happen before, so I'm not surprised that happened, but it's been forever since I've encountered that. I'm still not sure what causes that. It's a very weird thing. So, anyway. There's some green gems. If I collect 25 of those green gems, Oh, there we go. If I collect 25 of them, I'll get an extra life. But as you saw, it's kind of hard to keep them with you, so yeah. So this is where we first use our cherry bubblegum, and that will be a very essential bubblegum because it makes us able to skip certain parts of levels, especially later on, so you'll be seeing that quite a bit more. And okay, I'm gonna see what happens now with the music because... Okay, it stopped. Expecting lightning to strike down. You don't think so. No, it's not. It's not made by the same people who made the Zelda games for the CDI, but that would have been interesting for sure. Anyway, now I have this baseline that sounds like I've the Tiger. We have Pimp's Bakery. Shoutouts to Pimp's Bakery. And these are the streets of Tuscaloosa. I'll be getting through the city quite a few more times as we navigate the island. So yeah, enjoy the gems. These are, the game calls them black masks, but I call them flying ninjas because they kind of fly around and they look very ninja-like to me, so that's why I've been calling them. It may have been brought up before in chat, but yeah, the manual of this game is 80 pages long, and most of it is devoted to the lore of this game, because this game came with a mini novel of sorts, and that was basically done to encourage players and, I guess, children to read. So yeah, that's why it was done. It's actually a pretty nice little story of its own. You can find it on archive.org nowadays if you don't have the manual. So yeah, I used to find it through some live journal, so I still have the copy paste of that. Alright, so after each chapter you get a passcode. In this case we get Cruel Man, Cruel Bird, and that makes you start from the next chapter. I think it's nice that they have a word-based password system like that. Okay, so now we're heading out to this Gemerald ship, and we go into the sails. We are introduced to a couple more enemies, such as these rats with huge tails. The game calls them snap rats. And as you would expect, their hitboxes are rather big. Also, these platforms, if you jump on them, they stop your momentum for some reason, so I try to jump off them as quickly as possible. Anyway, this is a pretty big, pretty short level, anyway, so no big deal there. You actually had this game on release. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the funny thing is I never grew up with this game because at most, at best I would have probably rented it from a video store nearby me if they had US imports, because this was a US only release, and I didn't find out about this game until it was featured on the Kuso Grande at some point, when people were playing this, and that's when I found out about this. Oh, that, by the way, is this invincibility mask. That's referring to a thing in the story that's called Mask Day, and supposedly it's the only day that the people of Westicans can celebrate, and they're actually free, because normally they have to work in the Gemerald mines and such, and they're certainly not free, but that's one of the days when they are. The problem is, if I picked it up, I will be invincible for a brief bit, but I won't be able to move around or anything, so that's unfortunate. So that's why I just move like this instead. It's a bit riskier, but... As you hear, the music tends to modulate a little bit, so it's basically the same themes, but with a bit of a different sound, I guess. Also, this level introduces us to these coconuts. I call them surprise coconuts because one of them turns out to be like a surprise when it drops down. They'll be featured in the rest of the game quite a few times. Also, these cannons, you can actually shoot these cannons. I didn't find that out until later, but you can shoot into distant, you can shoot at objects or enemies in the distance, and that way you can get certain items. You can actually get one-ups that way too. There's some more things too. So I grabbed a gem just now to do a damage boost through that one enemy. Makes it a little bit faster. Because I usually don't one-up with any gems of any kind whatsoever. It's probably not the worst game to be featured on Kuso Grande. There's some jank to it for sure, but I've always loved the game really for what it tries to achieve, because it's certainly ambitious, you know, with the whole storyline and everything. You don't see a lot of it in the game, but it does make for a nice addition for sure. Oh, by the way, now we use our Grey Bubblegum once again. So the Grey Bubblegum turns you into this massive ball that rolls around, and that's the main boss killer in this game, so we'll be using that a lot, really. When I first routed this, that was a thing that was already there from the beginning. Yeah, the victory pose is great, isn't it? So what I currently have is orange bubblegum. I won't be using it really, but it does fire off these tiny bubblegum bullets, I guess. So it's kind of like a gun of sorts. But yeah, we won't be using it in the speedrun really. Also, there's quite a lot of lag on screen sometimes. It's part of the game for sure. When I hit these Keltish guards, I try to hit them sometimes in a way that both the bullet that's being shot and the guards themselves are being hit. Alright. Also the fun thing is with this grey bubblegum is that I can yeet myself into the air like this. So I could just bounce all the way. The bouncing strats are a bit weird. You have to basically jump straight up so you can reach your full height. Otherwise you won't get as far really. But that went pretty well actually. Yeah, I tell you, grapes are very strong in this game. They'll be used for multiple bosses. This is not even the last one. Okay, so now in this level, this is a part that has seen quite a major overhaul. So, to give a bit of backstory, this game was featured in a program, I guess, called Speed Bump on Smite's channel, and that's where they look at speedruns that may not have as many runners and that could use some optimization. And this was featured last year, and through that they were able to find some new strats, and I also helped out on that as well. I took part in that too. And most notably, perhaps, is the use of cherry bubblegum, which makes you float in the air like a balloon. And we'll be using that here to skip a section of me climbing this chain. So I'm going to see how this goes. It's very position specific, so we're going to see how it treats us. See? Do this. Then we have to basically line ourselves up over here. And we do that so that we can avoid both the guard and the bat that is approaching. But that was really good actually. And yeah, that's basically skipping a lot of chain climbing. So we have one more thing to do, and that's grab another cherry. So this is basically so far the optimal way of getting through this level. It's a lot faster because we used to climb these chains and you would encounter a lot more enemies and it would be much slower. And this cherry bubblegum is going to be used for the beginning of this level over here. So I'm gonna fly up here. This skips a section where we have to fight some of these skull dudes, and yeah, that part is if you don't have gems, it can be a tricky part for sure. But that went pretty well. Okay, and now we climb our way up here. Easy does it. Everything gets so much easier when you have like a red gem. So we picked up that great bubblegum, surprise surprise, for another boss fight. I'm not gonna say who it is or what it is, but you'll see soon enough. Right, so upcoming is this damage boost that's also been part of the run for a shorter amount of time. So basically I use my gems to then re-grab the subsequent gems from these bear claw gaps, I guess, to keep up the momentum. And that way you can skip all of these enemies. I used to play that a lot safer, but this is a really nice strat to do. Okay, and hey, guess what? We're fighting Skuljagger again, just like in Chapter 1. So the funny thing is we'll be fighting him a couple of times. And so over here, we roll over here to reduce the lag, funnily enough. Like, if you go further to the left, you see those barrel sprites, those tiny barrel sprites, they influence the lag. Also, despite us having the sword, Skuljagger can still walk in the air. As you saw. I don't know how that works, but that's some magic right there. Alright, Chapter 4 slowly brings us to a lighthouse. You'll see that soon enough. First we have some more flying ninjas to deal with. There's quite a few of them in this level. and more of this marvelous baseline, may I say. There's all kinds of random slowdown too. It's kind of funny how that works. Okay, gonna do some small hops here. If you jump early enough, you can jump over all of these bugs very, very quickly, so no big deal there. Ooh, I actually thought that projectile was gonna hit him, but it didn't. Looks like an umbrella. I've never thought of it that way. Yeah, there was talk about a sequel eventually, but it never happened. If you look at the... We'll get there by the end of this game, of course, but the ending text seems to allude to the fact that there's gonna be a sequel, but that never happened. Okay, so at this level we start off by grabbing this cherry from the beginning. We don't have to do that necessarily. We're gonna use a cherry gum in the next level, but this makes it a bit faster, I guess. So now we have birds who are throwing coconuts at us. How about that? There seems to be a thing with... just like in the previous game where birds would be throwing rocks at you, now it's coconuts, of course. I mean, why wouldn't they? If you have to deal with some more flying ninjas. Some tend to fly really, really far. And we have snakes. Also another addition to this level. Okay. I could have thrown the coconut as well. I didn't, but it was possible. Okay, I'm gonna see what enemy RNG we're gonna get. Because you saw that enemy zigzag in the in Scream, but that's not always what happens. Also, I should not have jumped there. Let's try it again. Probably means he's going to do the same thing again, so that should be fine. Just remember, play it safe. As soon as you don't have any gems, everything can be very scary. Oh wow, I did not expect that. Okay, this run is going places. That's okay though. It happens. It happens. It happens. Just gonna try again. I had some bad luck with that bird though. I'm not sure why that happened, but normally speaking, I have no issue with that whatsoever. There we go. I was probably too late with my response. So just for safety, I'm gonna take out the statue like that. It takes a few hits. Normally I would run underneath it, but since I lost some time already, I figured it would be a good idea to do this instead. The death animations are very long. Yeah, at this point, with the time that I currently got, if I would die, I would basically lose any chance at a PB. Let's see. Yeah, and this is where we use our next cherry. So this is one of the more significant skips where we just gonna fly through the entire level. So we skip all kinds of ladders and elevators and whatnot. So we're just gonna fly through this entire level, literally. That was one of the optimizations that's been implemented more recently. We just have to make sure that we carefully navigate through this, so there's no ninjas kicking our or popping our bubblegum, anything like that. So certain visual cues like this wooden log or this post. But anyway, now we're basically at the end of the level. It does save literally minutes of time. So, you know, it's pretty good, this bubblegum. Okay, this upcoming boss fight is interesting because it's not quite like the others. It's a group of battle dogs we're gonna fight. Let's see how this goes. Okay, there we go. Oh, that one was respawning really soon. I really hope this goes well. Oh god. Normally speaking, they don't do that. And this is unfortunate because I'm gonna use a continue now, but I also have to restart from the previous level. That was a bit of enemy RNG I didn't expect there. Yeah, you probably need a lot of helium for a bubblegum, for sure. Okay, we'll try it again. So we can actually grab a cherry gum from here. We just have to go up to this torch, or this, yeah, I'm gonna grab this and do the same thing. So go up here. So also you have 2 buttons to activate your bubblegum, in this case X and A, and I tend to press both of them in order to speed up the process of using it fully. So that way I can jump in the air and blow up this balloon really, really fast. I guess it takes some practice, but it's doable. Whoa, 7. So yeah, more bubblegum. So we do this same thing over and over. There we are. It's nice that this is shortened now this way. It's unfortunate that we lost some time to that, but we're getting back there. There's this setup for this boss that I'm trying to get. I'm gonna see if I can get it this time. There we go. Okay, we should be good now. This is kind of the setup level 1, so I'm gonna get these bell dogs over here. There's 2 more of them. And now we use this green bubblegum. We're only gonna use it this level because it's very handy with these enemies over here. This boss. So basically standing underneath this pillar, and I hit them multiple times as they jump over my head. And that's, as far as I know, the best solution to this, the best strategy to win this battle. It used to be a lot slower, and it's still one of the slowest boss fights in the game. I mean, normally you would have great bubblegum, of course, to solve it, but, you know, it doesn't always work, like in this case. And now we get another passcode, Fly Home Lazy Sword. And that's gonna be the last passcode that you get. So, that doesn't mean we're at the final chapter already, by no means. There's still more to go. Basically, if I would die now, I would have to replay from chapter 5. I would have to fast forward and replay chapter 5 up until chapter 7. So that's how much is gonna be there still. We're seeing more of these birds. They try really hard to catch up on me, don't they? There we go. That's always one I expect. It doesn't always show there, it's funny, but... Oops. Yeah, they throw coconuts at you once again. That was quite something. And the nice thing about grabbing the red gem earlier is that I don't have to reach down there, because there's another red gem over there, but... I don't have to pick it up because I still have it. Yeah, it's not quite the last level incoming, if only. We're not done with this mission yet. We've gone through a lighthouse. So at some point we learned that this sword is inhibited by this voice, who used to be the ruler of this city of Ernan, and that's where we're heading to right now. After we're done with dealing with these very well placed snakes. Let's jump there. Oh yeah, also you see these enemies sort of land on the ground. Before they get there, they have these iframes, so you can't actually hit them before they touch the ground. Which is a weird thing, but... Yeah, I like the codes. I would have liked to see what they would have thought of for the last few chapters, because it could have been creative with that too, I guess. Okay, so now we picked up cherry bubblegum from the battle dog fight, and we use it over here. So we literally take it across the chapter and another level before we use it. And we use it to skip this whole part. There's a bit of climbing here, and it's a lot faster, of course. So this level, this is where the manual also comes in handy. The manual has a couple of hidden codes that you can use to discover the secrets of this game. And one of the secrets is this warp that breaks you to chapter 6. So this means that in this case we skip 2 levels altogether, and it also means we skip 1 boss fight. So that'll be coming up soon. what we have to do is we have to perform a combination of inputs, and that will bring us to this warp zone. You'll see that soon enough. Let's see. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted, but I wanted another gem, but we didn't get that. Usually I wind up landing into this gap, because I think it's still like the fastest way. Otherwise you have to use like other bubblegums, but I found them... I didn't find them to be faster or anything. See. So I'm gonna try it over here. Down, left down, LR. Oh, there we go. So up, down, L down, LRR is the code. And that brings you to this warp zone. And the funny thing is there's more secrets like this. If you find them by accident, because that's what usually happens with the players whenever they play this, they tend to be scattered around the levels, but you tend to run into them, but that's what you see. You basically go to this secret area, and you can either opt to take a hit and go back to the normal level, or you can just play it. But in this case we warp to chapter 6, which is in fact the lost city of Arnhem, so we did skip a little bit of gameplay there. I know, there's lots of mysteries in this game. I kind of like that about this game. They really went out of the way to do something special with this. So, okay, we have this cherry gum once again, and I'm going to use it to fly past these clouds. The funny thing is most of these clouds actually pop your bubblegum, so, or break it. So you have to watch out for that. So I have to watch out for this as well. That face thing is back. Oh, I have to watch out for this now. I also gotta watch out for my lives in general. I should have picked up some more whilst I was in the warp zone. There were some extra I could grab, but there we go. There's double ghosts as well. That's gonna be scary too. Let me tell you that. Alright, go up here. And now we have these, I guess these lizards, who are introduced to us. They're not necessarily too bad in that sense. We also have these pigs. They call them blade backs in this story. You may have seen them before in chapter 3, I think. Apparently in this chapter, according to the story, we're supposed to lose the sword, but as you can see I still have the sword, so it's not exactly accurate. There's some more things happening later on as well with the story, but I'm probably gonna tell you about that. So we pick up another cherry, once again used for another skip in another level. See, that's a recurring thing here. Gonna get rid of these, gonna jump down here, which is perfectly fine. This is the level that has a lot of lag built in, like a lot. As you can tell from all of these ghost sprites, there's a lot of lag. Hulk lizards. Yeah, pretty much. Can do this for safety. Ah, didn't get the cycle. That's fine though. It's not the worst thing to happen. Sometimes this platform doesn't even spawn. I've had that happen too, and I basically am forced to sacrifice my cherry bubblegum for that. You don't want to see that either. Oh, okay. Normally I would make the jump. I kind of mixed that up. That's fine though. Okay. I got a lot of green gems now. I actually would not mind having 25 green gems at this point, considering I did lose a couple of lives already, but I think I might be fine otherwise, so we'll see. Also, I keep skipping the texts that you see in between levels, but they sort of tell more about the story, pretty much as it is in the manual. Alright, so this level used to be a lot longer and mostly kind of tedious because you're basically walking through corridors and such, but the speedrun now, if you have the cherry gum, you can skip quite a bit of that. So let's see if we can do the same here. Just gonna play it safe here. Go here. And don't do this. Did you know, by the way, if you're standing on moving platforms, you can instantly activate your bubblegum. You don't even have to repeatedly press buttons or anything, you just press X or A once, and there you go. It's very handy with this cherry bubblegum. Who would have thought? Alright, so after all of this, what do you think the ghost will be? Oh, I gave it away. What the boss will be. Because you've got ghosts, and you've got bigger ghosts. Beware. So, the story tells us that we're gonna fight Skuljagger once again, but that's not true. We're gonna fight this ghost. Because I'm like, well, we need a change of pace, really. We need to make sure that we're not just fighting, you know, Skuljagger. We want some variation in that. Because we're basically fighting Skuljagger like half of the time. Okay. Okay, I need a few more hits. That's fine though? Okay. I usually try to aim for the middle, because that's where the extra gem is. So I'm trying to orchestrate it so that I deal that certain amount of hits that way. Alright, and now it's actually time for the final level, where we go to the beach. Because we're ready to fight back against the Keltish army, and we're ready to finally put an end to all of this. On our end, we're gonna use another bubblegum. Funny thing is, there are some clouds that don't actually break your bubblegum. I found it out the other day whilst I was fooling around with a couple of things. I found it interesting. I was like, oh, wait, if that's the case, then what else can... what other clouds cannot break this bubblegum? But yeah, there you go. So this level feels like a rehash of the first level. They literally used the music from the first level as well. And it kind of looks similar with the bridge and everything. Except it's a little bit shorter, I guess. But that's about it. Once more, the victory pose. It's now a ghost that hovers. Yeah. I've made it into a Frankenface mode because I just loved it. It's so epic. I also have this jump point thing where, you know, people can make me say Ingawa, because Ingawa is this greeting that Storm Jackson has with his friends. And I can always imagine, you know... Oh, I gotta watch out now. But I can imagine Storm Jackson and his friends, or Storm Jackson basically doing that freaking pose, saying Ingawa. I think it's also something in real life. I didn't know that until more recently, but... So this level is not too bad, I guess, especially with some practice. There's a couple of rough spots here and there. You can try and grab those red gems, but the chances are that you'll lose them before you head down again, because those flies are everywhere, and the thing is, if you don't hit certain flies, they will catch up on you, so they're pretty smart that way. So yeah, there's all kinds of risks involved. But apart from that, this is not like nearly the longest level. There's gonna be a long level coming up though, 7-3. It's probably one of the tougher levels to do if you play this for the first time. So I hope you're ready for once more the Eye of the Tiger. And this is a lot of this is about enemies that you don't see until later. So there's lots of flies that are charging towards you. You don't see them until much later. Lots of these guards as well. There's a lot of red gems that you can pick up, so that's pretty handy. We can use them here to deal with them. This midsection here, we don't have to do much here. Let's see, north of this, there we go. Gonna grab this. So this is gonna be our weapon to the final boss fight, because if you don't have this, the final boss fight will be a lot tougher. And you used to play this way when I first started out with the speedrun, but yeah, it's made it a lot tougher. Okay, that was a pretty tight jump. But the thing is not to jump too late. You'll basically fall down. The funny thing is there's a secret there that you can grab, and it leads to an alternate exit, so you can do that still. It's not actually faster than doing this route though. I've been timing that, and this is still faster. Which is nice because that part is tough. There's lots of enemies. Okay, gotta remember here. 2 on the floor, on the fronts. So it's nice to remember this by certain cues. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end of this level, so and also the end of this game. So there's one more thing to do, and that's to fight Skuljagger one more time. It's time to finally get our victory. Aggressive toilet time. Okay, this is a cheese stripe, by the way. You can basically see me holding up my hands now if I had a webcam on, but I don't. But yeah, time stops as soon as I do the last hit, so Skuljagger's trying his very best. We're just making mincemeat of him, and that's the end of the game. And now you have this final text to conclude it all, saying, "Janglestorm, your amazing skill and bravery have at last freed Westica from the cruel dominion of Captain Skuljagger. On this fine historic day, watch in triumph as rank upon rank of Keltish troops, once the scourge of Westica, retreat across the ocean in defeat. And at your hands, Storm Jackson, Skuljagger himself has suffered the ultimate disgrace. Not only has he been defeated and his empire taken away, but he's been magically transformed into the loneliest creature of all, a rat." Like, that's actually what happens. There wasn't enough time for the game to show that right now, but if you wait long enough, after Skuljagger explodes, you see this rat appear, then vanish, or disappear. So yeah, that's what happens. And now they say, "Celebrate, Storm, dance and sing through the streets of Tuskamish." But be forewarned, even as you celebrate, a rat is making its way quickly through the nighttime jungle, scurrying toward the lost city of Arnhem. Its purpose, one can only guess. But this much can be said, there may be a time, Storm Jackson, where you'll once again be called upon to save Westica and the world from a cruel monster named Skuljagger. And yes, that's indeed where they were implying that it was going to be a sequel, which was mentioned before in chat, but that never happened, so it would have been interesting to see. I mean, they certainly wrote up enough lore that they could expand upon that, but, you know, it never happened, so... Yeah, I had to say that there were some setbacks with this run for sure. I mean, it can happen. This game can potentially be sort of unforgiving, but yeah, thanks everybody for the GGs. So my the world record is 31 minutes and 24 seconds, and that's basically with pretty much everything going right, and not a lot of screw-ups really. And most importantly, no deaths. As soon as you die, it does add up to the time pretty quickly, and also the fact that I used to continue there also added to that, I guess. You only have one continue. Like I said, if you game over, you have to restart from chapter 5, so there's a lot of stuff you have to play through still. But, you know, we made it, so we did it. Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the most expensive IP, I'm pretty sure. It would be fun to see that one of these days. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. That's my, that was my SNES Super Stars block. 2 games back to back. It's been fun showing both of these off, and yeah, I can definitely recommend people check this both of these games out. This game also, there's been a couple more runners since last year, but you can also use always use more runners. But yeah, thanks to SpeedGaming and SNES Super Stars for letting me show these games. So I hope you all enjoyed. Up next we have a run by LaHawk, I believe, and he's gonna play Soul Blazer, which is a wonderful game, by the way. I did play some of it for one of the Super 16s. So that was a fun experience. I should finish it at some point. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna sign off and carry it over, hand it over to the next runner. So enjoy the rest of the marathon, and I'm probably gonna order a pizza or something. Alright, I'll see ya.